this dream, my wife and I were in the dream. We were walking, which is interesting. We were walking in a part of the state where we live, which is Illinois. And as my wife and I came, we were in the street, we were walking. And then all of a sudden, we were like on a hill and we saw this motorcade. So there was an opening and there was a road and it was coming toward us. And it was a presidential motorcade. It was a presidential motorcade. Can I stress that again? There were several 4 or 5 black SUVs that the Secret Service and people ride in. There were several presidential limos, at least 2. Well, I said several, but there were at least 2, because then there was another vehicle, and it was a funeral hearse. So it was a long presidential motorcade. So there were several SUVs. There were 2 limos that I believe one of them that the president gets carried in, they call it the Beast. Anyway, there were 2 presidential limos, and then there was a hearse. And they were coming and they were on this winding road. And then the next thing I saw on both sides of the street of this road were people that were 15, 20 deep. And when I saw the people, the first thing I noticed, they all had on MAGA, they MAGA hats. They were wrapped in their MAGA flags, Make America Great Again. Some of them had Trump flags and some of them had United States flags. So I noticed that. So that caught my attention. Then the next thing that caught my attention, and I thought, oh, wow, this is very, very interesting. The look on the people's faces, some were in shock, some were in awe, and some were just overwhelmed with grief, and some were weeping. Even though I could not hear the weeping, I could see the weeping because of the tears and the expression on their face. I've seen a person weep before, and I knew that they were doing, that's what they were doing. It was so somber and it was so silent that no one was making a sound. And this is what I saw. There was no violence. And as the motorcade was winding through, and as I said, I could overlook and see it, it was coming, making its way toward us. So my wife and I never spoke in the dream. We never said anything to each other. I said, in the dream, I said, let me pull my phone out and videotape this. I pulled my phone out of my pocket and I unlocked my phone and I began to videotape. And when I videotaped it, and the minute I started videotaping it, the image of Donald Trump, his full face, came up on my phone screen. And I knew in that dream, I didn't hear a voice. There was no words or there was no sentence or letters. I knew that this was the funeral motorcade of Donald Trump.